Hi, and welcome to the RA Info session. My name is Amalia Schumacher. I am the Thompson Hall Director, and my pronouns are she, her, hers. We are so excited that you are interested in being an RA and understand that you have a busy schedule that might make it impossible for you to attend one of our other info sessions. In place of that, we still wanted you to get the same information, get the tips and tricks that we have to offer, but also be flexible with your schedule. And so this recording is for you. At the end, I'll have my email, so if you have any questions or would like additional resources, please feel free to reach out to your RA or hall director, and we will get you all taken care of so we can set you up for success in the RA interview process. So we should probably start by talking about what an RA is. All of you have an RA, you've probably seen them around, you know a little bit about what it is that they do, but I want to give you some more information about what it is you'll be getting yourself into. So the main role of a resident assistant is to support students and build community among your floor and hall. We hope that they help build a vibrant, healthy place for students to live and learn, where they feel welcome, where they can make friends, where they can succeed academically, and overall just have a really great experience here at NDSU in our residence halls. RAs work with a staff team as well as a hall director to address student needs. They serve as campus leaders and are looked up to and given more leadership opportunities as well throughout their time in the role, and have the opportunity to make a positive impact on themselves, on others, and on the world around you. Being an RA is something that can really have a positive ripple effect, not only for you and your staff team, but the residents that you work with, because a lot of times people will look back on the times that they had in college and recognize that an RA was someone who really helped them and gave them resources to be successful. And that's something that you have the opportunity to take part in, which is pretty cool. So what do you have to do? Like, what does all of that actually entail? So being an RA is really all about being active and available. The main goal is for your residents to know that you are there for them, that they can come to you with questions, and that they have someone around who will support them and cares about them and wants them to succeed. Part of that includes having intentional conversations with residents. We want you to connect with your residents and get to know them as people, and get to know what they like, what they don't like, what they're going through, all of those things that we can help them through whatever is happening in their lives. You also facilitate community gatherings. Sometimes, depending on the year, that might be virtual, it might be in person. It really just depends. But community gatherings are a time for you to bring your residents together to have fun and get to know each other, or to share important information that they might need in a way that makes sense for all of them to be together. All RAs also work on billboards. You've likely seen them throughout your community. They have different themes throughout the months, but this is a space for students to interact or get more information, or even just get to know you as their RA and what you like and what you're into. Part of that being available and active in the community includes holding visibility hours. We ask 3 hours of you per week where you are in your community, available to your residents, getting to know them, and really focusing on building connections. Every night there is an RA on duty in each one of our residence halls, and so performing duty to ensure the safety of the residents and the community is something that's really important. That's something that you get scheduled for, and that works with your academic schedule as best as we can, so that you can be on duty, knowing that sometimes those include like later rounds into the night, and still be ready for class the next day. And then lastly, you participate in meetings, trainings, and staff development within the hall and within the department. We start every year with a training, a week and a half up to 2 weeks of a training session where you come back, move in early, get to know all the other RAs, and really get to learn your job. Then each week we have a staff meeting within your hall staff, as well as periodically throughout the semester, some additional trainings, resources that we might do departmentally. So just more opportunity for you to learn, grow, and build your leadership skills. What do you get out of it? Because that's also really important. So the first thing that you really should be focusing on, hopefully, is the professional development aspect of the RA position. This is a great way to build your resume. You get a lot of skills in communication and facilitation that other people might not be getting in their other jobs. And it really can set you apart based on the way that you're able to communicate with people, help resolve conflict, offer resources, offer support, because those are skills that you will take with you into pretty much any job that you have moving forward. We also offer trainings in equity and diversity to help you understand the differences in people around you and celebrate those things so that we can all become better neighbors and global citizens to one another. And then lastly, like I talked about, is that opportunity to make a positive impact. Being an RA is something that's really impactful for you, for your personal growth, and we hope that you get a lot out of it. That really is our goal. We also pay you money, which is pretty cool and pretty important. So as part of the RA position, you are provided a meal plan. If you're in one of our traditional residence halls, or should I say our first year residence halls typically, you get a 5 or 7 day meal plan. That choice is up to you. And then in Niskanen and the Matthew Living Learning Center, you have the option of a 75 block meal plan, and those are our upper class buildings. So either way, we've got you covered. We make sure you are fed. We also give you the housing. That is a scholarship that is valued minimally at about $8,000, and that covers the cost of you living here. So we house you, we put a roof over your head, we feed you, we make sure you're all good. And that's a huge benefit to students who are in college, maybe taking out loans or need that financial help. It's a great opportunity and definitely helps lighten that load. And then lastly, in your first year as an RA, you do get a scholarship of $50 per semester. And that increases as you continue to work here, but that's also something that is applied to your student account and can go toward tuition or whatever else. So who can apply? If you're watching this, you probably can apply. The RA position is one that we typically reserve for students who are in their second year and up, but you are applying as a freshman for your second year. And so you are more than welcome to apply. If you're anywhere beyond that in your educational career, you are absolutely good to go. We ask that you be in good conduct and academic standing. Conduct means not being on conduct probation. If you've gone through the conduct process, you would know if you were on conduct probation. Otherwise, you're welcome to ask your hall director or any hall director you might have met with for that. And good academic standing. We do ask that you have a 2.5 GPA, both cumulative and semester, if at all possible. When you're applying, if your GPA is not at those numbers, please don't let that deter you, because we want to look at you as a whole person and work with you as best we can to make sure you are academically successful, but that this role will be good for you. If you're a first year student, when you apply, it will ask you for your GPA, but you probably don't have one yet, at least here at NDSU. So feel free to put 0.0 in those boxes. We know that your GPA is not actually a 0. It just will indicate to us that you are a first year student applying for the position. And then if you are an introvert, an extrovert, anything in between, you are more than encouraged to apply for this job. There is no one type of RA. We aren't only looking for outgoing people. We're not only looking for bookworms. We are looking for everybody in between. There are so many different kinds of residents on this campus and so many different kinds of RAs, because we recognize that whatever you bring to the table is going to help you connect with your students. And so there is no one type of RA. The best thing that you can bring to the RA position is just being yourself, being authentic, and letting us connect with you in the interviews, and then you connect with your residents if you get hired. Applications are currently open, which is really exciting. They will close on January 14th. It's a pretty short application process. We just ask you a few questions about yourself and then why you're interested in the job. At the time that you fill out your application, you will also select your interview time slot. Those interviews are happening between January 19th and February 1st of 2021. And you sign up for the hour slot that best fits your class schedule. We have lots of slots available, different days of the week, so whatever works best for you is what you should select. At this point, we do have the intention to conduct all of the interviews in person. If that makes you uncomfortable, that's entirely okay. We also have the opportunity for you to connect with us via Zoom. You'll just select that option when you go to sign up for your interview. If you select the in-person option and at some point, like your plans change, you're in quarantine when we come up to the times of the interviews, any of those things, please just contact us to let us know that that has changed, and we'll be happy to meet with you over Zoom. And then notification of hire goes out in mid to late February, and you will get one of 3 letters. The first is a letter that says, we're not ready for you right now. We appreciate your interest, but maybe try again next year. The second letter is, you're really great. We are not able to offer you a position at this exact moment, but we would love to put you in our candidate pool, where if an opening comes up, we would love to call on you to fill that position. And then third would be that letter that says, absolutely, please come work for us. Here is the building that we would love for you to work in. Please give us a yes or no answer. And those notifications come out mid to late February. And all of those notifications come via email. For the interviews, we're going to talk a little bit about interviewing as a whole in just a minute, but some specific things about our RA interview process. Talk to your RA about their experience. They are the experts in this. They have gone through it at least once, if not more, depending on how many years they've been an RA. And they're going to be able to give you some really great advice about what it is that you're doing, what happens next, and how to really crush these interviews. We ask that you dress your best. There's no need for a new wardrobe. Wear what makes you feel the most professional. We as hall directors will all be in more professional attire, more business casual things, but wear what makes you feel confident. If you walk in there in a 3-piece suit and that feels amazing to you, we love to see it. Dress however you want to make you feel comfortable. If that's jeans and a nice shirt, we love to see that as well. Whatever makes you feel the most confident, that's how you should show up. During that process, we do what we call a round robin style of interviewing. So when you come into the space, which will be at the Niskanen Community Center, there will be 6 tables set up with different hall directors at each table. You will go to the first table, those hall directors will ask you 2 questions, and then you will move on to the next table. We do this so that you have the opportunity to meet all the hall directors, but also if you get to a table and you answer 2 questions and you don't feel like you're killing it, you have the opportunity to start fresh at the next table in just a few minutes. Each table has 7 minutes to answer those 2 questions. We'll talk more about that in just a minute, but it is plenty of time to get us an answer and let us get to know you better. We worked with the Career and Advising Center to talk a little bit about some of these more professional things. So all this information comes from them. Their contact information will be at the end as well. But as far as some professionalism tips, being timely is important. If you are showing up to your interview in person, especially noting that it's in the Niskanen Community Center and you might have to allot time for travel, 10 to 15 minutes is usually a pretty good time slot to be there early. That way you can get settled. It'll be winter, so you'll get to take off all your winter gear and be really ready and centered for your interview. If you are planning to tune in via Zoom, once again, completely fine. But we recommend about 5 minutes ahead of time coming into that Zoom room so that you're, once again, ready, prepared. You can make sure all of your technology works, all of that. Once again, the dress piece, we just ask that you wear what makes you feel the most comfortable. We would suggest looking nice and feeling professional so you can really get into that mindset. But whatever that means for you is totally okay with us. They recommend preparing ahead of time and doing some research. That can come in a lot of different forms. We have a lot of information on our website. If you just Google NDSU RA position, tons of information will come up about how to apply, where to apply, but also what an RA does. And so getting to know some of those things will be really helpful. Think about the things that are happening in your community with your RA. Talk to them about what it is they do, what they like about their job, what skills they feel like they use. All of that research will help you feel better prepared and likely give us better answers to the interview questions that we're going to ask you. If you are checking in over Zoom, once again, totally okay, but these are some tips for how to make sure that your Zoom or virtual interview goes really well. So making sure that you're appearing engaged, that still includes eye contact like it would in a normal interview. Be enthusiastic, use your voice or your hands to talk to us and let us know that you're excited about these things. Talk in a way that is slow and we can understand you, but you don't have to move at a snail's pace. And make sure that you are clear, concise, and getting to what it is that you want us to know about you. And then additionally, having good posture. If you're like slumped over in bed or like laying on your side, that's going to be really awkward for us, and we're probably not going to get the best side of you. So making sure that you're sitting up straight, feet on the ground. If you're in a spinny chair like I am, trying not to spin back and forth is helpful, because that's just distracting for you and for us. But making sure that you are comfortable and in a good spot. Make sure to check your technology ahead of time. Make sure that you've got a background that's pretty clear of distraction, not something that there's a lot going on, there are a lot of people passing through. Make sure you have a secure connection as much as you're able. Get those things set up ahead of time. Like I said, coming into the meeting a little bit early so you can be sure that you're ready is a great tip. And then to the best of your ability, get to a quiet location or somewhere that you're going to be undisturbed. If you're in your room, that's totally okay. Let your roommate know, hey, I'm going to be doing an interview. Could I have the room for this amount of time? Or can we make sure that we're really quiet while I'm doing this? There are study lounges on most of the floors that you live on, as well as in academic buildings, that are a great place to do that. If you can't find a quiet spot, just let us know. Like, hey, I'm in a study lounge on this floor. You might hear the door open and close based on where my room is or where the study lounge is, but I apologize for that in advance. And we'll be totally okay with those things. If you want to absolutely have a quiet location, the Career and Advising Center does have spaces in their offices where you can reserve that space to have a quiet room to do your Zoom or virtual interview. So feel free to take care of that ahead of time. And then as far as communication with Zoom or virtual interviews, make sure that you are letting us know who you are. Do that in a way that, like, we will be introducing ourselves to you. If you are here with us in person, we would introduce ourselves. We won't be shaking hands this year, of course, but introduce yourself. Communicate with us, do so in a way that makes sense for you, but don't let the screen be a deterrent to you for potentially awkward conversation or having awkward answers. We're here just like you are through the screen, and that's totally okay. Just make sure you're communicating to the best of your ability with us. So what to expect as far as the actual interview goes. A lot of the questions that we are asking are going to be behavioral-based interviewing questions. And this gives you a really great opportunity to brag on yourself, honestly. Tell us about your experiences, tell us what you've been through, tell us a story, help us get a good idea of who you are and how you process things. One really great way to do that is by using the STAR method that we have outlined here. So the STAR method is a way of answering questions and telling a story that walks us through 4 parts. The first part is, what was the situation? So setting the stage, I was on a softball team and I was the captain, but we came into a conflict. What was the task that you were being asked to complete? As that captain, I was asked to have a conversation with my fellow players about some bad attitude that we had been having. What was the action that you took? After a game or after a practice, when we had a really good practice, even though we felt some tension, I sat everyone down and let them know that it was important that we talk and get things out in the open, and I helped to facilitate that conversation. And then what was the result? After that conversation, people were much more willing to communicate with each other, and we made a system for how we would talk to each other if we were in conflict. That result part is the most important part. Because if you tell us about a situation that was sticky or bad, or that you handled well or poorly or whatever, but you don't tell us what came of it, you kind of leave us on a cliffhanger. And we really want to know what that result was, what happened next, if it went well, if it didn't, and what you might change about it. If you are interested, like I said, my email's at the end of this. I have a worksheet and some resources for the STAR method that you're welcome to reach out for. And it walks you through a couple of different ways to answer those questions and gives you some practice so you'll be able to present the best version of your answers to us at the time. As much as you can, we want you to prep it before you wreck it. There are various questions that will likely be asked in any interview you go into, but these are a few that it's important to be thinking on and reflecting on, and maybe have some good answers for before you show up. So why do you want this position? Of course, we want to know why you want to be an RA. What's the good stuff? Why are you interested in this? What do you want to do? What makes you excited about this? Tell us a little bit about yourself. That's a great skill to develop early on in life because it's something you'll be using for years and years to come. Being able to give that elevator pitch about yourself, who you are, what your major is, what you're interested in, what excites you about this is all really good stuff to have prepared. And then what skills do you need to be effective as an RA? That's something really great to be able to think about and then work through your answers as you are talking to us in the interviews. Be ready to call to mind some previous experiences. So when we talk about this, we recognize that this might be your first time applying for a job. This might be your first job in general, and that's totally okay. There is no prerequisite that you need to have to be an RA, and you have a lot of previous experiences that you can pull from. So that could be group projects and classes. It could be part of a sports team in high school, part of your church group or clubs, organizations, like family things. You can talk to us about any experience that you've had that you feel like will help us understand what it is that you're hoping to get out of this position, what some of those skills are that you have, and how you want to be able to positively impact people. That why portion of why you want to do this, why you want to impact people is something that's really helpful because like this slide says, there are a lot of jobs on campus where you can help people. So we want to know why the RA position, why this position, what makes you feel like you would be good at this, what makes you excited for it, how do you want us to remember you when you walk out of here? Make sure that you're using your time wisely. As I said, at each table, you have 7 minutes for 2 questions, which doesn't sound like enough time, but based on the STAR method, the questions that we're asking you, and just the pace of the day, it absolutely will be enough time for you. Make sure that you're giving us enough context on the story. Tell us the full story beginning to end, not forgetting that R, that result of what happened in the situation. But you don't need to go so far into the story that we know every single detail. Make sure you include details of the situation so that we don't have to make assumptions or that you think we'll know what happened. But make sure that you're getting the key points and sort of like an outline of the situation so that we can follow it clearly. You are prepared for a good answer and we can move forward with that time effectively. If you are interested, these are the people that we have worked with, Amanda and Cassie from the Career and Advising Center, and they're both wonderful and more than willing to help out, answer questions, help you prepare things. And they also have mock interview times available for students if you are interested in doing a little bit more prep before this time comes to really feel prepared with what it is that you're doing. We are more than happy to also meet with you as hall directors, answer any questions, do some mock interviewing, but these are the career experts. So they're great people to reach out to if you have any questions. And normally I would have time here for questions. Since we're in a virtual means, that's totally okay, but please feel free to email me or stop by and talk to your RA or hall director. But my email is here on the screen. You can shoot me an email, let me know that you watched this recording, and I will give you the honest answers to the questions that you are looking for. I'm happy to sit down or talk over the phone or via email, but I really want to make sure that you have all of your questions answered. So please don't hesitate to reach out. Reach out with any questions, comments, concerns, or if you're interested in those STAR materials that I mentioned earlier, I'm happy to share those with you to help you prepare for your interview. But regardless, we're so excited that you are interested. I'm so excited that you're thinking of applying. I look forward to reading your application and to hearing from you with any other comments, concerns, or questions. Have a good rest of your day.